This is Johnny Phillips. I'm here with pair students in the group.
Hi, I'm Ann Bastian, and I'm here to have a conversation about my career. I currently work at Verizon Corporation in the Finance Planning and Analysis group. My background's in accounting and finance.
And thank you for taking the time to stop and have a conversation with me. To start, will you mind sharing your job? You work for Verizon. Can you share your job and what you do for a living?
Sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was asking if you mind sharing your story, meaning what you do for a living and how you ended up. You work for Verizon as a financial manager.
Sure. So I work at Verizon. I've been there for about a year and a half, and I work in the business side, meaning that our clients are large Fortune 500 businesses. So I don't work with the consumer side. We're broken up into small business, large global enterprise, large corporations, public sector. And so I work in the enterprise group. And what I do is I work with a team, and what we do is gather all the P&L information. That would be the closing information, so the actuals, and then all our planning and forecast information. We take all that information and we try to figure out what does executive leadership need to know to make the right decisions. And so a word that you'll hear in our business is we figure out how to take that data and make it consumable for executive level leaders. And that basically involves PowerPoints.
Sounds like a very high level job. Sounds interesting. A lot.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we do get to work shoulder to shoulder with the people who are making decisions that, about where the business is going to go, because we're constantly telling them what's happened and what our large team, there's a team of about 30 people that are doing planning and forecasting. And especially now during COVID, our cycles of forecasting have shortened so that we're almost forecasting every 10 days because the markets have changed completely. So it's a very interesting time. It's a very busy time. I'm lucky to be working. And we're just constantly learning, and I like that. I like to do new things, and to be challenged. So for me, this particular job is a really good fit, and I have a great team that I work with. I'm not the boss. We're all peers, and they're just great. They're collaborative. They're smart. We all bring a different specialty to the team, and that's the kind of team I really like to work with.
Yeah. Teamwork, right, is really important.
It really is. Collaboration and teamwork is personally has always been the thing that I look for in a job that I'm going into. And I think it's something that is very much valued in the workplace. So if it's difficult for you, it's something that you should work on. And there's lots of resources out there to help you do that. Because some people are introverted and they're not as easily, it's not as comfortable for them just by personality. But there are strategies you can do to make it a little easier for yourself. You don't have to become an extrovert. You just have to adapt a little bit.
Yes, and we can touch on that a little bit later. But I'd like to ask, how many different kinds of jobs have you? Do they all relate to the position you're in now?
So I started with my bachelor's in accounting, and then later went to school at night to get my master's in finance, because So I started in accounting, and I've had a lot of different jobs. I haven't been, I think, more than 5 years at any one particular job, and I've been in the workplace. I've been in this field for 30, a little, more than 30 years. So I started in pure accounting, which for a chemical manufacturing company. And I was lucky in that it was the kind of environment where they were dedicated to people's growth. And so they moved me around. So I worked in accounting, like journal entries and reconciling accounts and just really basic accounting, which I'm going to say may not sound exciting if you talk to other people who are doing other things, but I will tell you that it was such a strong foundation for everything else I did. And it serves me well even today, where I have we're doing financial reporting, but I have such a strong accounting background that that's one of the things I bring to the team is I can say, oh, yeah, we may have won those contracts, we won those sales, but you're not going to see the revenue until whatever. Like there's just little idiosyncrasies that, don't ever think your job is, oh, somebody else has a more exciting job, because you're just building your skills and building your knowledge base. So anyway, I worked there. I worked in treasury at that company. I worked in reporting and found that I really liked it. I went to a pharmaceutical company. I went to Merck, and I did an accounting job, capital, fixed assets, which is a very specialized area of accounting. I then went to State Street, which is a big investment bank, and did statutory reporting, which was really interesting. I'm a little bit of an accounting geek, so we got to do we worked with bonds and stocks and valuing them and derivatives. And so I actually liked it because it was really challenging. And then where did I go then? McGraw-Hill Education, where I was again in an accounting reporting role. Then I went to Deloitte, which is kind of backwards because a lot of people go to a professional services company early in their career. I went later in my career and was there 3 years and then ended up at Verizon. And I think I've missed a bunch of small jobs in between with small, medium-sized companies where I did training. I worked, I was home with my children for 9 years, and I worked part-time for a bunch of small companies, and I did training. And I also wrote some continuing education classes for my local community college on like spreadsheets so the world is full of opportunities.
Yeah, it sounds like change industry. Do you find those skills transferable?
Did I find it hard to change? Is that
Or
what
do you find those skills transferable, moving from industry and job for job? I mean, you mentioned building on skills.
So one of the things is always remember that when you go for interviewing for a job, you're interviewing them too. And I always presented myself in an interview as someone who had this suitcase full of skills and knowledge, specialized knowledge and skills. And I always insisted that it was, here's another industry word, like transferable. I had transferable skills. I can learn your business. I can learn how your department runs. I can learn your accounting software, your reporting software. You can teach me all that, but here's the bag of experience I have and skills I have. And there are people I interviewed with who said, no, I don't want to do that. I want somebody in my industry, and I want somebody, pharmaceuticals are kind of in the Jersey area. Pharmaceuticals are well known for if you become mid-career and you haven't worked in pharmaceuticals, it's hard to get in. Doesn't mean you can't, because anything's possible. And there are paths in always. But it's harder to get into a pharmaceutical in New Jersey today than has been. But remember, you're interviewing them. And like I went on one interview with a small medical supply company, not small, mid-size, I would say. And I really gave my spiel, and he said, I can't. I hired somebody like that and it didn't work out. He's like, go back, get this experience, this particular experience, and then come back. And I did do that. I went to another company that necessarily didn't want to work for, but I wanted specific experience. And I worked there for a couple of years, got that experience. And then that actually got me the job at Deloitte, which was better than the first job that I didn't get. So my experience sometimes has helped. Sometimes I've been able to convince them, or they've been open to it. Sometimes they haven't. But one thing that has always helped me, moving from job to job, even if it was in different industries or different areas of accounting and finance, was my education and certification. And so I highly recommend that students in any industry, like I have a master's in finance and a bachelor's in accounting. And I also have my CMA, my certified management accountant. If I was a young person, I would probably get a certification in financial analysis. There's a group that now there's a test for a certification for that. I didn't know of it when I was young. I don't know if there was one. But those credentials always helped me. They always opened a door. So I think today there's like, you could get a certification even in like in PowerPoint and in data science, like data, you don't have to have the money to go to graduate school. It'd be less, it's still money. It's still a lot of money, but like, I think it was maybe $2,500, which is a lot of money. But like, I could have saved that and gotten my certification if I didn't already have it studied and taken a test. So I highly recommend that people look for those kinds of things. You can even get like Microsoft certifications. Every certification you can get in your resume can open a door for you.
And thank you for sharing really relevant information about the students' ability to gain information, using their tablet or laptop. And so for our last question, is there any advice you yourself would go back?
Yeah, I think the advice that I would give, and that I do give to people who've asked me to be a mentor kind of, is always be interested, always ask questions, join groups. I think I've said this. So this is join groups. There's accounting or finance or whatever your profession is. There are groups out there. Before the pandemic, they would meet once a month. But there's groups now, they'll meet online, or there's so much information out there. Read about your industry, read about your profession. Just keep interested and keep learning. Join groups and at work, volunteer for assignments, and be a good team member. But make connections, and it's easier today. You have LinkedIn, connect with people. And I don't know how people are today. I know when I was young, the what they said to us was, you're supposed to be perfect at 22 years old. You're supposed to know everything. You're supposed to be good at everything. Yeah, that's unrealistic. So accept who you are. You know, if you're an introvert, if you're an extrovert, and read, learn, grow about how to use who you are, because those are good things, but how to use them in the workplace, how to take the things that are your the things that you're best at, and how to use them in the workplace. Don't ever feel that the things that you're good at, or the parts of your personality that you're good at, are not of value to you. And if that means that you speak a second language, actually, that's going to open a lot of doors for you. You know, just create a network, create, you know, that you're comfortable with, and get those certifications. And there's always a path. So here's what I want to say this too. There's always a path. I'm a first generation college graduate. My parents didn't go to college. Their parents didn't go to college. I was able to work and pay for my undergraduate. My parents weren't able to help me. I went to graduate school at night. I paid for that too. I went slowly, but I got there. And so I encourage you, if you go to a 2-year school, go to a 2-year school, save that money, and then transfer to a 4-year school. There's a path, take it. And I just encourage everybody to do what you need to do, and you'll be great.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that advice. I'm sure there's a lot of people who, will take it on, try to, use something. I want to thank you for taking the time for this conversation, and
Thank you.
hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. I'm happy to have been asked. So thank you very much.